Hello and welcome along to stage 2 of the 2011 Dakar Rally. Plenty of action for you in the bikes. Castor pushing hard. Problems and action aplenty for Volkswagen today, and lots of work to do this evening. And Robbie Gordon exchanges his Monster Hummer for something rather smaller. But there was plenty of action even on day 1 for some of the competitors. The biggest story of the day was Marcos Patronelli, the Argentinian man who won last year's event, had a problem with his bike.
La verdad que me está castigando, me está pegando todo el día. Pero ya está, llegamos, Polito, ¿qué quiere que haga? Es una ficha que nunca se tocó, nada, o sea, es un poco
Saying
mala
it was
suerte.
just a connection issue that had come unplugged, and he was out, as was Rafael Sonic. This big roll caught on amateur camera and damaged his hand, so he has decided to withdraw. He was a winner of the last stage in 2010. In the car category, it was always going to be dramatic for the new Mini. 300 kilometres of testing the car had done before it arrived, and therefore the 370 kilometre liaison was okay, but once Shishiri started pushing, he found some serious problems. Firstly, cooling issues slowed him up on various occasions, and then problems with the rear axle, they thought at first. When taking off the wheel, they realised the brakes had gone. The tyre had machined its way through the disc. Because it's a new car, instructions were needed to find out how to fix it, and eventually the two drivers managed to do so and get the Mini back to Parc Fermé some 55 minutes later than the rally winner. Shishiri will be hoping for something a little easier tomorrow.
Donc c'est sûr que sur le coup là, c'est un peu dur.
It was a really hard start to the rally, but if we imagine
Voilà, à la fin,
everything works out for the rest of the rally, then 1 hour isn't so much. We can still have a good run.
On fait les trucs bien, donc je vais essayer de digérer un coup.
I'll try and digest this, and tomorrow we will be better. It was always going to be a development rally for the Mini, and Shishiri was the man to do it, having spent so much time with the BMW X-Ray team. This car, by the way, very similar to an X3. How about some on-board camera then? Van Loon is our pilot. The Dutchman finished 13th on day 1. In 2009, it was a very difficult year for Dutchman Gerard de Rooij. On the Silkway Rally, he damaged his back. And sadly, once more, it's happened here in Dakar 2011. He missed the 2010 event because of the injury. Many different surgeries to try and fix his back. He thought it worked, but going over a bump, he lost all wind in his lungs, and he was out of the race. There's good camaraderie between the truck drivers, teams alike as well. And he comes over to consolidate with Kamaz.
We go to the hospital and then...
He was not the only truck to get into big problems. Another Dutch front runner, Wolf van Ginkel, didn't even make it to the stage, rolling his truck on the motorway to the first special. It was Vladimir Chagin who took stage victory, some 4 minutes and 40 seconds ahead of Lopez, but even he was slightly disappointed at Gerard de Rooij's withdrawal. A new smell has come to the Dakar bivouac, and it's a strange one. Fried food.
Ça sent le poisson, ça sent la friture.
Sometimes it's chips, sometimes it's fish. This is a story of the Eco Challenge, biofuel. This biofuel is very special because it comes from oils of the school kids and kitchens and businesses of our various employees. The oil would normally have been thrown away. After the success of its first run in 2010, when the car won T2 using 20% biofuel, the only way was to run 100% this year with Toyota. Normally, the loss of performance is only about 5% on the test bench, but in real conditions, when we're driving, we don't really feel any difference. It's not a problem. What can be the problem is actually to do the race and liaison completely, because we need to bring more fuel. We don't have this stuff at petrol stations. For the first time, Dakar organisers have created an energy challenge in response to the need to be environmentally friendly. It combines all different energy types, and there are 7 cars involved. Chilean Autogas team are out to discover how gas works on the Dakar Rally. Everyone asks, how is it? Is it the new thing? And we simply answer, it's very simple and very safe. Not dangerous at all. And so, everyone's very content. Gas is very easy to find in Argentina, but in case of lack of supplies, the drivers can switch to a normal fuel system. The system does not emit any carbon dioxide, instead oxygen and water. I would say these two different pollutants are the difference between us and the diesel petrol cars. Thanks to this and many more projects, the rally emits just 5% in comparison to the Football World Cup. A great achievement for Dakar Rally. Today's stage is totally new ground for Dakar as we go from Cordoba up to San Miguel to Tutankhamun. 300-kilometre special for the bikes, a little bit longer for the cars before a long liaison. First stage kicked up a surprise result in the bikes. Ruben Farrier taking victory just ahead of his more experienced teammate, the teammate that he was supposed to be supporting. And as day 2 dawned, plenty of pressure on the bikers to see how they perform once more. But for one particular man, a penalty. Farrier was caught speeding yesterday, and therefore he will start 3rd and pick up 1 minute in time. But he says, for me, it's okay. I start behind Cyril, and I'm here to help him. So if I wait for 2 minutes or start behind him, it's the same, really. He will start just behind Depret, who will go on the road first. It was Coma who started yesterday's stage first and didn't really enjoy it. Therefore, let's see how Cyril Depret gets on. Coma says, we still are in the first stages, the race is still long, and we do not want to do some stupid things in the first day. Well, doesn't matter if Cyril Depret starts 2nd or 1st, the result is still the same. Victory here on stage 2 of the Dakar, and a convincing one at that. Throughout the stage, continuing to push, continuing to stretch a lead over the rest of his competitors. And although he was slightly caught on the stony section at the end of the stage, Depret leads and wins by 1 minute and 50 seconds. Marc Comin was 2nd, found yesterday very challenging, especially the mountain section at the end, and hasn't yet looked as comfortable on the 450 KTM. Happy not to be starting the stage, but did lose time passing Farrier on the road. As per usual, beautiful landscapes on the Dakar Rally, and beautiful horsepower of a different kind. Third position today was Frenchman David Castor. He finished 14th after dropping his bike over a jump yesterday and was very concerned for the spectators' well-being when the bike went into the crowd. Having found out that the spectator is okay, his mind back focused on rallying, and despite this mistake, he was nearly second fastest in the overall classification, but dropped to third on the sandy section after a few mistakes and pushing a little too hard. He's now 6th overall, 10 minutes down. The best Aprilia was Francisco Lopez, 4th on today's stage. He lost time to Castor on the final section of the day, although had been fighting him as well. Claimed that the dust was really causing problems for him, though not that many bikes in front of him. Overall then, 4th, 7 minutes down on the rally leader. Ruben Faria has a few problems with navigating, and it's not really his strong point. Likes to follow Cyril Desprez, and because of his penalty he wasn't able to catch his teammate. Definitely knocked his confidence. He was only 14th at CP1, but fought back to 5th, although did lose 5 minutes in the process. Overall, with penalty time, he is still 3rd, 6 minutes down. A new name to Dakar, Olivier Pain, had a very quiet first day on board the Yamaha, 14th on day one, but the ex-Rally Raid world champion who's supporting Cordy Villidoms absolutely trounced his teammate. 6th on this stage, 6 minutes and 40 down from the rally leader, but he got a 2-minute penalty yesterday for speeding. Another Yamaha, Jonas Street, had a slow start to the day, again 12th at CP1, but managed to get to 7th by the end of the day. The American was the first Yamaha on the opening day, but slightly struggled in the sandier conditions. He was just under a minute slower than Pat. Again, the best BMW was Paulo Concalves. The bike working well, not running for the Works full-time Speedbrain team, instead for the Bianchi Patra team, and really enjoying the stage. 8th today, 3 seconds slower than Jonas Street. Helder Rodriguez was 11th yesterday, but slowly building himself up and pacing himself. Wasn't really worried about not getting into the top 10, but did today. 8 minutes behind the Pret overall. Verhoeven, the second of the BMWs, was actually slower than his teammate Zehelio, but saw Zehelio having problems in the sandy section in the mid part of the rally, and therefore he finished up 10th, and 10th now overall. So results of the stage then, Cyril Desprez from Coma Castor, then the first year Aprilia's in 4th position, Faria is finished in 5th. So what about the feelings of our stage winner?
Ravitaillement essence au kilomètre 169, j'avais pris un petit peu.
At refueling at a kilometre 169, I had taken some time to mark, around 1 minute, and I had a really good feeling, so I decided to attack in the second part. But I also had to preserve my tyres because today they was nearly destroyed. In this 300 kilometre stage, there was a lot of riding. There wasn't really that much navigation, and I lost a lot of time whilst trying to pass Ruben. And when I tried to get it back, my rear tyres were very damaged, so I slowed down and slowed my rhythm to the finish of the stage. In the quads, Alejandro Petronelli took up the mantle of his brother by winning the stage by just 23 seconds. It's his 3rd stage victory, and he desperately now wants to win the rally as his brother is out of it. Overall though, after winning yesterday's stage, Josef Masacek, the 2009 winner, leads the rally by 5 minutes and will be difficult to catch without problems. Carlos Sainz was certainly the man on the mission in yesterday's stage, but what about today? For some reason, it was very humid overnight, and drivers and teams woke up to a very, very hot morning. Nasser Al-Attiyah, of course, used to this heat. It's not too much of a problem for him.
Je regarde un peu la texture du sol parce que sur certaines pistes.
Peter Hansel says, I'm just looking at the texture of the ground because in some areas the gravel is a bit like, it's like ball bearings and it has no grip at all. Even when it's dry, it can be more slippery than if it's wet. You have to learn the grip each time, and the colour of the ground changes when the texture changes, so not to be caught out under braking, and that can be a problem. Carlos Sainz, first man on the stage, first man over at the end of the stage, and first on the leaderboard. Yet again, El Matador absolutely flying.
Curva hacia la derecha, 90 grados. 100 metros. Curva hacia la derecha, 90 grados. 200.
He built a gap of 1 minute at the start of the stage up to CP1, and then he maintained it, pacing himself the rest of the 300 kilometres and coming out with a gap of just a minute by the end. Despite his pace yesterday, he said his wipers had failed, and therefore it was an even more impressive result. Second was another Volkswagen, Nasser Al-Attiyah. Having been rather too careful in the slippery conditions yesterday, again he lost time in the rain. At one point, he was 2 minutes down to Sainz, but the final part of the stage he really pushed and made it all back. Second, 1 minute behind Sainz. Third position, Stefan Pederhansel. Yet again, a slight victim to Sainz's early pace. The WRC type stages not suiting the Dakar Rally winner. And when Al-Attiyah lost out on the slippery stuff, Pederhansel gained. He was up to second, but then dropped back down to third. Fourth was Ginier de Villiers, taking it easy, as he normally does at the start of rallies. It's just enough to finish ahead of the rest of the field. Best of the rest, Orlando Terranova this time, the Argentinian fan favourite. 7th on the opening day, but 5th today, and had a great battle with this man, Christoph Hollowitz. Just 2 minutes separate them in the overall standings. And the Mini, such a busy day on stage one. Shishri hoped for a quieter day today, and I think he got one in terms of mechanical problems, although starting 21st, he had to pass many cars. Nowitzki was 10th yesterday and 8th today, the FIA Cross Country Cup champion, starting to get to grips with his Argentinian stages. And first of the Mitsubishis once more was Spinelli, the Brazilian driver, 10th, 17.5 minutes down, and 9th overall. What about Nani Roma? Visibility problems when the car fogged up yesterday, and not much better in terms of speed today. How about this? That is Mark Miller, the fourth of the Volkswagens, having a big accident early on in the stage. He tried to nurse the car through the stage, but damage had meant that he had to stop various occasions to do running repairs. The windscreen was out, the door wouldn't shut, no bonnet, but expect to see that car again soon. And what about Robbie Gordon? Mechanical problems were reported, but he got stuck on a rock, having understeered to the side of the rally. Also problems there for Van Loon, but look what they decided to try and tow the big Hummer off the rock with. A little Fiat 500. Robbie Gordon trying to find some gears in the 500, and as locals pushed the car, Gordon found reverse and finally tried to tow it out. Not to much avail. The Hummer, a huge beast in comparison to this little car. He had been doing relatively well in the top 5 throughout the stage.
Just it wasn't marked on the road book. Sharp corner, got sideways, straightened it out, hit this big rock here. Didn't hurt anything in the front, but I got some oil leaking, so I don't know what that is. But also broke transmission. Tried to back up.
So a lot of work to be done when the Hummer does eventually arrive back to Parc Fermé, but I'm afraid it looks like game over in terms of rally win. Stage 2 results, the top 5, Sainz, Alatia, Petter Hansel, De Villiers and Best the Rest. Argentinian Terranova putting a smile on the fans' faces. Overall, Sainz leads by 3 minutes from Petter Hansel. Alatia is snapping at their heels, and then it's 10 minutes to De Villiers and Holovic in 5th. With a bit more visibility, how did Sainz get on today on stage 2?
Una etapa otra vez complicada porque
once again the stage was very complicated, and yet again it rained. My wipers broke again, so I couldn't see anything. It's important to stay ahead to make time, but moreover to finish the stage without any problems.
It was really not easy to stage yesterday and today, but okay. Yesterday we have a small problem, and we have also today exactly same the problem. We lose a lot of power last 100 kilometers. I don't know what's wrong, you know, because when we touch the water, something wrong, and we try fix this problem, you know, because I am disappointed. Last 100k we lose a lot of times.
The trucks also took to San Miguel. And yet again, Vladimir Chagin, now slightly unchallenged in the truck category, took the fastest time. Such was the speed of the Kamaz that they started to find some of the slower cars en route. The single track lanes did not lend themselves to overtaking, and therefore Chagin found himself slightly slowed up by the end of the stage. Interestingly, it should have been Nikolaev who was second, and through the early part of the stage he was doing particularly well, but as the stage drew to a close he disappeared off the timesheets. That gave way to Firas Kabirov, who had already lost a good chunk of time on day 1 and yet again lost more on day 2. Kabirov is now 11 minutes behind his nearest rival. So with the demise of Nikolaev, who at this point in the stage was moving, it left the way for Alex Lopez to get 3rd overall. 7 minutes down, the pace not quite there, but has also been passed by Kabirov on the overall standings. He's going to have quite a fight if he wants to take it to Vladimir and Firas. Tomorrow's 500-kilometre special is split into 2 parts with a little break in the middle. Again, the bikes and cars will split, the trucks only taking part in the first bit. Canyons and trees and plenty of beautiful scenery expected. So we'll see you tomorrow for stage 3 of the 2011 Dakar.